Hey there, and welcome to another four-part series on another amazing rural YA book. This month, we'll be focusing on Nora Shalaway Carpenter's YA anthology of diverse rural experiences called Rural Voices. So, full confession, I didn't realize that YA anthologies were even a thing, and I can tell that I've really been missing out. This collection had been sitting on my desk staring at me for way too long. I was struggling a little bit with how to do this first summary video because each piece is so different. Like, how do you provide a summary of an anthology? Well, I've decided for this video, I'm going to give a short breakdown of the pieces in the collection and read Carpenter's opening letter, which also kind of provides a frame for what is in the anthology itself. I've also already shared a little bit about each of the pieces on Twitter, so I'm going to drop a link to that tweet in the description below. Hopefully that'll help you have more of an idea about what kinds of experiences are represented, which regional ruralities are featured, etc. Okay, so there are 16 pieces in the collection. There are 2 poems, 3 graphic short stories, 1 essay, and 10 short stories. The states represented include South Carolina, New York, Texas, Idaho, West Virginia, Virginia, Utah, Georgia, Michigan, Indiana, woot, Alaska, and New Mexico. So most of the stories are realistic fiction, but there are a few with speculative elements to them, which is really fun. And the pieces gathered here tackle everything from issues of class, ableism and disability, mental health, family, religion, queer identity building and acceptance, and just being a human being with all of the beauty and challenges that come with that. So here is how Carpenter introduces the collection. Dear reader, when I was growing up, my family traveled a lot. A perk of having a parent who took on freelance travel writing assignments. I was 7 years old when on one such trip an adult I just met cracked a joke about me. In response to learning I was from West Virginia, the person wondered how that could be because I still had all my teeth. There was a pause, and young me realized I was supposed to laugh, to join in the fun. I don't remember what the person looked like or whether we were in an airport or a fast food restaurant, but the smallness that comment instilled in me, the idea that I should feel shame because of where I lived, that I remember to this day. Unfortunately, this was only the first of many ugly West Virginia stereotypes I'd encounter. I spent most of my childhood and young adulthood internalizing shame about where I was from and trying to reconcile my lived experiences with the most universally negative and simplistic portrayal of rural people on TV and in other popular media. I grew accustomed to casual jabs about my background and learned not to mention it. On the occasional times I did challenge those jabs, when I managed to communicate some version of what you're saying doesn't match my reality and it also insults many people I love, my experiences were seen as exceptions to the rule, not proof of its validity. So she goes on to talk about more about that and why that matters for what she's doing in this collection, why that matters for what the authors are doing in this collection. But she also gives a little bit of a framework to the stories that you're going to find in the collection, and so I thought I'd read that bit too. The 15 authors whose work you're about to read are diverse in ethnic and cultural background, sexual orientation, rural geographic location, physical ability, and socioeconomic status. You'll find powerful new voices alongside award-winning established authors. Still, this collection portrays only a fraction of the innumerable experiences and voices that compose rural America. And that indeed is the point. There's not just one type of rural. These stories will transport you all over the United States and into the lives and hearts of the characters who inhabit them. In Virginia, you'll solve a mystery and right a wrong. You'll roam the Arctic tundra of Alaska and meet the ghosts of a mountain town in New Mexico. In New York, you'll discover a holler's powerful, dark secret and you'll be invited to pull up a seat and learn of real-life experiences that bloomed into poetry. You'll navigate a private school in South Carolina and learn to speak your truth. You'll walk painfully down cracked Indiana sidewalks. In Georgia, you'll take a life-altering bus ride in one story. In another, you'll find a force that makes you remember who you are. In Idaho, you'll discover the secret menu of a small restaurant, and later, how speaking up can shatter barriers. You'll find fear and freedom in East Texas and political and personal unrest in a Texas border town. You'll climb trees in West Virginia and visit a county fair in Michigan. In Utah, you'll experience a teen's struggle to bridge two very different parts of her identity. And in every one of these places is rural, yet every one is its own unique universe. Just as there's no uniform rural place, there's no one kind of rural teen either. The teenagers in these pieces range from amateur sleuths and academic scholarship winners to marching band members and rodeo queen hopefuls. They are pig farmers and writers, artists and restaurant servers. They navigate relationships, bigotry, and their own identities. Some are popular, some are misfits. They love their hometowns and hate them, sometimes both at once. Rural Voices defies the idea of a rural monolith over and over with every story. It seeks to change the conversation, to offer new narratives and ways of viewing the incredible people who make up rural America, the people who are so often misunderstood, made fun of, and maligned, who are overlooked and even outright ignored. The short stories, poetry, graphic short stories, personal essay, and author anecdotes in these pages dive deep into the complexity and diversity of rural America and the people who call it home. Whether your own experiences are rural or not, I hope you find something of yourself in these pages, and more than a few some things that surprise you. Thank you for reading. Signed, Nora Shalaway Carpenter. So that's not the whole letter, but it's a pretty generous portion of it. But I just wanted you to have sort of an idea about like how this project came together and what's in it. So, just like she says in the intro, in every story I found something that felt familiar to me, felt like home, and I also learned a bunch from things that didn't. There's such a wealth of wonder here. I hope you'll follow along with this series where you'll even have a chance to hear from the editor-author herself. Surprise! If you still need a copy, there's a link to her author page and book in the description below. Happy reading! And y'all come back now, would ya?